Good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Dr. Heather Carlisle. I'm a physical therapist and I am a clinical aromatherapist. I got that certification a couple years ago. And I am here to talk to you a little bit about using essential oils to help manage and bring relief from pain. So I'm going to share my screen so that I have some slides I can share with you. Okay. So today's wellness education series, like I said, is essential oils and pain. So a couple things as you're watching this, just make a note that this is part of a series. There's 8 parts in total. And if you want to get the prize for completing all 8, make sure that you click on the and back, probably about 6 going on 7 years ago. I was a physical therapist at the time, but I was also a new mama. I had one daughter and had just had my son, and was introduced to the oils through a church friend and was immediately just floored by how well they worked to support the health and well-being of my children, of my husband, of myself. And that really started my journey. So I started this journey, and the initial part was to just learn how to help my family. I just wanted to know how to keep my kids healthy. Um, that hadn't really entered the realm. And then, of course, the natural course of things is that as I realized how amazing these oils were, I began to share. And as you begin to share, you begin to build a business. And the next thing I know, I have a doTERRA business, and I'm homeschooling children. I have 3 now. And I'm still working as a physical therapist. And I started to realize that I felt like there was a disconnect. I realized I was doing all this to help my friends and family, but that I wasn't serving my patients. And I really knew in my heart that so many of my patients would benefit from these essential oils that I wanted to take it to the next level. So that's when I decided to seek out my certification. But I went ahead and I got that certification. And then, it's kind of like give a mouse a cookie, right? I realized that even though I had the knowledge and the experience and the desire to help my patients, I really wasn't in an environment that was going to allow me to do that. And so 2 years ago, I stepped out on my own. I now have my own physical therapy practice. Experience on how these essential oils can help with pain in general. And I really want to share kind of some of the things that you can pull from this for yourself, for your family, and for your friends. So, as any good clinician, let's start with a little self-assessment. And I really want you to look at the 3 different areas of pain that we're going to go over today. And I want you to kind of self-rate yourself. How would you rate your own pain that you go through on a daily basis? And the first one we're going to talk about is chronic pain. So let me define chronic pain for you. Typically, chronic pain is defined as anything that's going to be lasting longer than 6 months, with or without a known source, right? We don't have to always know the source. It just has to be there. It has to be persistent. And anything that's there more than it's not. So as you're looking at this scale, I want you to think about a 0 would be none, but 1 is very minimal, or it doesn't happen every day. And 10 is really getting to the point where it's unbearable. These are probably the situations I say really anything 5 or 6 and above, you're looking for relief, whether that's in the form of pain pills, or that's why you're here to look for non-traditional kind of natural relief, that you're really looking for that. The next category surprises a lot of people. So this is emotional pain. This one is one that is a little bit harder to pin down, in my opinion. I love the phrase, how heavy are the emotions that you feel, right? Because emotions can feel really heavy, especially when you're dealing with hard things in your life. And the last few months for a lot of people have been really hard, whether it's trauma, whether it's grief, whether it's loss. All of these things can really weigh on us. And people don't always connect the dots that emotional pain has a physical manifestation, right? So we cry when we're upset, right? That's a physical response to emotional pain. If you have kids, or maybe even yourself, stomach aches, right? That can be one. Headaches, increased muscle pain and tension. So there's something that I teach a lot of my chronic pain patients, and it's called the pain tension cycle or spiral. And I really think of it more as a spiral, right? So when you have pain, and let's just, for example, say when you have physical pain in and of itself can create emotional pain, right? Emotional pain can then create physical pain. So this becomes a very vicious cycle for a lot of people, where when you are feeling physical pain, it causes you to have increased tension, increased feelings of anxiety, increased feelings of stress, right? And those feelings then manifest themselves as headaches, stomach pain. It may increase muscle tension, and when you increase muscle tension, you increase muscle and joint pain. And the other thing that really keys into this that we won't touch on quite as much today, but I know there's a separate webinar for this, is sleep. So when we are dealing with chronic pain, when we're dealing with emotional pain, our sleep tends to also be heavily impacted by this. And when we're kids, we're growing. So we are constantly releasing growth hormones as kids, right? And growth hormones are largely responsible for tissue repair as well as growth. But then what happens is we grow up and we become an adult, and we don't release these growth hormones at the same level that we do as kids. As a matter of fact, typically most of the growth hormones are released during very specific cycles of sleep. So when I have patients that are dealing with pain, and they're dealing with stress, and they're dealing with anxiety, and they're telling me that they're not sleeping, cope with pain diminishes. And you can see where this now is creating this vicious cycle. No sleep, increased stress, increased pain, less sleep, increased stress. It keeps going and going and going. So hopefully today I can address not only the actual physical manifestation of pain, but the emotional pain as well. And there is, like I said, additional continuing education webinars that dig in a little bit deeper than even we'll go for stress and for sleep. And then finally, we have the category of occasional pain. So this would be something like having good days, having bad days. Maybe you slept wrong, you woke up with neck tension. Maybe you're a weekend warrior, you decided to take on a big DIY project, and now your back is sore. Or, you went for a run, the knees are achy, but after a couple days, they're going to be better. You work out in the gym. So that's just kind of giving you some ideas, or maybe you get occasional headaches, right? Once a month. So if you're rating this, 1 would be, you rarely have days where you have pain. And 10 would be like, yeah, this is something I deal with, but maybe not quite to the level of chronic pain. Okay, so hopefully take a minute, rate those 3 categories, right? And I need to ask more questions about that. Is a really great oil for a migraine. So just kind of keep the pen and paper or the phone handy, and we will go through that. Okay, so we've defined the different kinds of pain, right? So now we need to start understanding which body systems that you need to support the most. Okay, so foundational support is really important. So again, go back to clinician mode with me, and I'm going to ask you to do a quick self-evaluation of your systems. All right, so think about when you go into the doctor, when you go into the chiropractor, when you go to physical therapy. One of the first things they're going to ask you is, well, where does it hurt? Where is your pain? And they've usually got that little diagram of the human, right? And you have to put an X, or you have to shade, where something hurts and describe it. So I want you to do that, right? I want you, even if you just draw a stick figure, all right? Is it your low back? Is it your neck? Is it a knee? Is it an ankle? Is it a shoulder? Kind of circle it. Does it radiate? How do you describe that pain? Does it radiate down your leg, down your arm, down your back? Is it burning, shooting, achy, throbby? How would you describe that pain, right? And how intense is it? You just kind of rated that, but kind of think about, what is it at its best? What is it at its worst? Where does it average out at most days, right? Is there an injury involved? All right. And the reason why we do this is because my goal for this is not that you just cover up a symptom. When I am working with patients, my goal, my passion, my determination is that we do our best to get to the root of the problem. All right. If all we do is take a pain pill, we're really just masking symptoms. We're not really fixing the problem. Okay. We're just putting a temporary band-aid on it. And unfortunately, and I can tell you this firsthand, this is pretty typical for our healthcare model, especially here in the US. All right. The model is, you have a problem, you have a symptom, they give you a pill that addresses that symptom. It doesn't really address the root problem. It just covers up the symptom. And unfortunately, a lot of them also create new symptoms that then you want to cover up. So, if somebody's struggling with blood sugar levels, maybe their insulin is off, right? It's easy to hand somebody a pill. It's a lot harder to talk about lifestyle. And I'm not saying that medicine is never an option or should never be considered, but chronic pain may be a food sensitivity, right? It can be causing chronic systemic inflammation. Maybe we need to address diet. Maybe we need to cut out dairy or cut out gluten or cut out eggs or soy. Those can be very inflammatory, right? Sometimes it doesn't manifest necessarily as pain. Maybe it manifests as something like eczema, right? So now we're trying to figure out why the skin is telling us there's a problem, right? The skin itself isn't the problem. The problem is what we're putting into our body. Unfortunately, the solution is often a pill or a steroid or something like that that doesn't really provide a healing approach to the problem. So my thing is I love to be the detective, right? I love to help people figure out what's at the root. You know, is it joint wear and tear? Is it poor alignment from the shoes you're wearing? Is it what you're eating? Is it what you're not eating? You know, is it sleeping? Is it posture? There's so many things that we have to look at. Is it hormones, ladies? Hormones are huge, right? Hormones can actually make you feel fatigued, stressed. It can lower your threshold and have increased pain, hormone imbalance, right? A whole nother talk there, but it still plays into this. So, right, when we are talking about essential oils and pain, right, like we are today, it's really important and that's for your overall health. That's not just for pain. Okay. And what I mean by that is not a certain diet. It's not whether you're keto or vegan or vegetarian or paleo. What I mean by what you foundationally support your body with are eating whole foods that were designed to nourish the body and actually reduce inflammation. So even though we can all agree that that is probably the best thing, something that comes straight out of the earth is going to be better for us than something that's packaged in a factory, right? We can pretty much agree on that. However, even if we're eating really good, we're getting our fruits, we're getting our vegetables, we're getting the good grains, we're getting deficiencies. That is why supplementing your diet with a good bioavailable vitamin supplement like the Lifelong Vitality is probably one of the most important things that you can do. And I know you're probably thinking, well, how in the world does nutrition and vitamins and things like that actually impact my pain? Right? I mean, that doesn't seem like it's necessarily the first. It can do the repairs. It can send more blood to the areas that need it. It can support the brain function, right? It can help with the things like the stress and the anxiety. It can help with sleep. So, healing functions are so important, but you have to have the right building blocks to do it. You know, if it's good soil and you put water in it and you put it in front of the sun, right? Even a droopy, half dead plant, and I am not the best at plants, will perk back up, right? Think about your body as the same way. If you aren't giving it the hydration, if you aren't getting the so just knowing that everything Lifelong Vitality, their initial symptoms kind of back off. They start to improve. And what that lets me do as a clinician is really target in on what we still need to address. Do we need to address hormones, adrenals, muscles, joints? But if we give our body what it needs, then we can target in even better. And it gives you more energy. More energy means you're moving better. It means that you're sleeping better, believe it or not, because you're more active during the day. Your digestive system is functioning more efficiently and properly, which goes a lot to clearing out toxins and inflammation. And your stress is improved because a lot of the neurotransmitters that actually contribute to stress and anxiety and depression and focus and brain fog and things like that, those things actually exist in the gut at a much higher level than they do the actual brain. So you have more energy, you're less stressed, you're feeling good, right? And guess what? Then we can focus on where the real problem is instead of just everything hurting. So how does the Lifelong Vitality support the different areas we talked about in the very early slide when we talked about chronic pain, emotional pain, and occasional pain, right? How does it support the different body functions? How does it support the different levels of pain? So if you're struggling with chronic pain, right, maybe it's arthritis, maybe it's fibromyalgia. I've got testimonies throughout the clinic, throughout my team about how Lifelong helps these things. It supports chronic pain because it provides a healthy response to oxidative stress. It also supports bone health with calcium, magnesium, zinc, and vitamin D. This is not only great for your bone health, but it's also your immune system, right? Especially the zinc and D. So we want to keep our immune system strong so that our coping system is strong, right? It's going to support healthy joint function and comfort. So one of the things they're able to get out and do some of the things they love, right? The joint function is also largely because of the omegas. So it has some great omega-3s in it. Omega-3s are so powerful for keeping our joints hydrated, and for keeping, the brain functioning, which kind of leads us into the emotional pain part. When you provide your body with the omega-3 fatty acids it needs, it supports your gut, it supports your cognition, mental clarity. So it's interesting, omega-3s, if you're not really sure what those are, most of our brain, roughly 80% or so, is actually made up of essential fatty acids. So if we're not feeding our body the good fats, the good essential fatty acids, which come in the form of omegas, our brain is actually starving, right? So when we can get these in our food, that's great, but you've got to be eating feed the way your body feels the serotonin levels in your gut, and how you feel. So I think that we think emotional pain or mental illness can all come from the brain, but that's really not true. A lot of it's coming from the gut. So making sure you have the right gut biome, making sure that you're giving it the nutrition it needs, allows it to produce the feel good neurotransmitters, right? And that helps with the stress, it helps with the anxiety, it helps you to feel more relaxed and in control, better able to cope, and that actually does help reduce pain. So quite honestly, when I have patients come in that have really been struggling with a lot of chronic pain and have a lot of emotional pain and trauma tied into that, a lot of the times I'm also recommending that they seek professional help. I'm a physical therapist. I'm not a mental health counselor. I'm not the psychiatrist or the psychologist, though some days it feels like that. Um, it's good to find a good professional that you can talk to that can help you kind of sort out your emotions and give you that kind of support that you need to work on, processing trauma and processing emotional pain, because doing that will help the physical pain so much. It's amazing how when you can release the emotional trauma, the physical pain seems to just vastly improve. And then occasional pain, right? So this one seems a little less important. I don't want to say important, but why is lifelong vitality going to help with occasional pain? But I think it's important to understand that when you've got a good foundational support, right? When you've got the right vitamins and minerals and omegas that are already in your body, then your body can recover that much faster. So if you do something wrong, weekend warrior, you're in the gym, even sleeping wrong, your body actually has the building blocks there it already needs to speed up the recovery process. All right. And protect yourself, right? So that occasional pain doesn't then go into emotional pain. All right. I am not going to spend a whole lot of time here. But this is something that I see and I get asked a lot. A lot of my patients are really, really worried about getting addicted to narcotics, even post-surgery. And a lot of my patients have struggled to overcome the addiction. So I want to talk to you just briefly about the dangers of the prescription pain medications and the opioid crisis that our country is dealing with. And, if you are on pain medication right now, I always recommend that you work with a professional to come off it and come off it correctly, right? A lot of them just can't be stopped cold turkey. But we can talk right? You can talk to your doctor, you can work with professionals, and you have options. If you don't overprescribed, we are told, that they can be taken safely, right? Or they're safe when used correctly, but they can still be highly addictive. When you're thinking about pain medications and just the overall state of our country, just know that 37,000 deaths drugs that are out there. So, and a lot of times they are getting sold illegally. So there's a lot of people that, are getting access to these that aren't supposed to have access to them. And it just creates all sorts of problems. There's problems with overdoses. There's just problems with being able to function safely on them, like being able to drive or operate machinery. And the warnings are on there, right? So when I say safe, I'm doing this like safe, quote unquote, because we all know that they're not necessarily safe, even if you're taking them correctly. If you've ever been on them and you feel mentally out of control, they can wreak a lot of havoc on your bowels. A lot of people that take them regularly struggle with constipation. It's not always a good feeling, even if you're taking them correctly, right? You know that you're not really supposed to drive. You kind of have this out of your head feeling for a lot of people. And that's sometimes the feeling people seek, right? So then when you do decide to come off of them, there's a lot of withdrawal symptoms that can be unpleasant as well, right? So a lot of people experience insomnia, leg spasms, things like vomiting, diarrhea, just really having trouble focusing, right? A lot of headaches. So it's not a pleasant experience, right? When you're trying to change what your body's used to having. So just a few things to kind of keep in the back of your head, whether it's you or a family member, knowing that 90% of people with chronic pain are prescribed opioids before they're offered any other kind of solution. It's kind of disheartening in my profession, because there's so much as a physical therapist that we can do to prevent or even reduce the amount of pain medications people actually need. And then you add the oils to that, and you've just got this really powerful combination. So if you are working with somebody to kind of wean off pain medications, be patient with yourself, give yourself a lot of grace, make sure you're getting plenty of water, try to come up with some alternatives, when you start craving that pain pill, meditate, take a walk, whatever you're physically and emotionally able to do. Take the supplements that will support your body naturally and give your body what it needs to detox and to heal. And then just make sure you have a support group, right? You've got to have the right people supporting you. Okay, so we are going to talk about some different wellness box options. So wellness box simply is your monthly order that you are getting through your doTERRA account, especially through your loyalty rewards program. What's great about this is that doTERRA has taken it one step further for us, right? So if you haven't seen, doTERRA has come up with 3 tracks it's a 90-day program. And every month for 3 months, they send you oils and products to support that particular tract. So they have one for immune system, they have one for stress, and they have one for pain. So a lot of the products I'm going to talk about are in that 90-day system. So you get to save a lot of money, and you're going to get a lot of the products we talk about just by putting yourself on that track for pain relief. So if you have questions about that, if you haven't seen that, then go back to whoever shared this Con Ed series with you and ask them some additional questions about how to get started with the pain tract, because I guarantee you will love it, and it will specific. You can always add it if you do the LRP, if you do the pain track. I think they do a pretty good job of covering it, but there may be 1 or 2 things in here that you would maybe want to add. So we're going to address joint pain, muscle pain, emotional pain, digestive pain, and of course we're going to talk specifically briefly about actual head tension and migraines themselves. So let's talk first about some joint pain. Okay. So joint pain, of course, is pain people feel in their joints, right? This is things because there's wear and tear through the joints. Maybe there's arthritis. You don't have as good a cartilage support, just lots of things like that that cause joint pain. It can also be the ligaments themselves. Maybe it's a ligament strain. You can sprain an ankle, or you can twist Duo Caps are phenomenal because it's a soft gel and it's going to combine the essential oil of turmeric with the botanical powder, right? The reason why this is so important is that they've done some studies that show that if you just use the oil or you just use the botanical, your body can't process it, it can't absorb it completely. Whereas when you combine them, it actually increases your body's ability to absorb it and use it. So it gives you increased benefit, and it makes it that much more powerful when you're dealing with trying to create healthy inflammation and healing. Now, the other thing is the Deep Blue Rub. And I will be honest with you, this is probably what I go through the most at my clinic is Deep Blue Rub. It is hands down just amazing, simply amazing. Whether it's your knee, your shoulder, your lower back, your neck, your ankle, it doesn't matter. It's amazing. It's going to help to promote actual healing of the tissues, right? The blend that's in there is going to promote healing. It's going to help reduce inflammation. When we get into muscles, we're going to talk about how it helps to reduce spasms, right? And tension. So this is something that you can use on a daily basis. Now, of course, Deep Blue Rub on a workout and you're really hot, maybe you've been outside, you're sweating, you're working out in the yard, you're hot and sweaty, or you just got out of a shower. And it's not that it's going to hurt you, but it's going to intensify. So it may go from feeling like almost a hot cold. It can be a little bit intense. It will calm down. You can put some coconut oil or something over the top of it if you forget. It's not going to hurt you, but it may be a little bit uncomfortable. And then we have the Deep Blue Polyphenol. And this is really meant to be an internal support, right? So this is not the Deep Blue oil in a capsule. These are botanicals. These are the herbs and botanicals and healthy inflammatory response to the tissues that need them. So those three combined for joint pain are really, really super powerful. And then we move into muscle pain. Now there's a lot of overlap here, right? Okay, so a lot of times muscle and joint pain go really hand in hand. So you see the overlap, right? The turmeric and the Deep Blue Rub are for both muscle and joint pain. Like I said, the Deep Blue Rub has oils in it that actually help to, and they're antispasmodic, so they're going to reduce any kind of muscle spasm or trigger point. The turmeric, of course, like we talked about, is a duo cap, which is going to be for inflammation. And then you have Copaiba. So Copaiba soft gels are phenomenal. They are amazing to help to promote deep relaxation. They're amazing for helping to calm down the nerves, right? So nothing is truly separate. If you have muscle pain, then you may have nerve irritation. And nerve irritation just happens when the muscles, the increased muscle tension clamps down or irritates a nerve. The nerves can't glide properly. And so you have to calm the nerves down too. They're irritated. You can have nerve pain from joint pain, right? Maybe there's a disc or something going on in your back or your neck, and it's irritating a nerve. I highly, 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 highly recommend the Copaiba if you've got any kind of nerve, anything going on. And then you see marjoram. So Deep Blue and marjoram can be layered together. It's going to be very deeply relaxing to So deep blue with frankincense and copaiba or marjoram is amazingly powerful for any kind of muscle, anything. Going back to joint pain, another suggestion I can give you if you're having maybe a tendonitis or a ligament strain is to layer the deep blue with lemongrass. Deep blue and lemongrass are super powerful, especially with ligaments and tendons. So I love that combination as well. So back to the muscles. Like I said, you just want to make sure that you are addressing the muscle pain, maybe doing gentle stretching as you're able to, kind of move through that, because movement is huge. Also make sure if you're having joint and muscle pain that you are hydrating. So we've already talked about LLV. We should be doing LLV for all of this. But if you've got muscle and joint pain, make sure you hydrate. Your joints, the fluid around your joints are highly dependent upon water, and your muscles are highly dependent upon water. When you don't hydrate enough, the muscles aren't able to glide. I mean, your muscles are layers upon layers upon layers, and they're all moving in different directions. And so when you aren't hydrated, the fibers actually kind of start to stick together. And that's going to aggravate trigger points, muscle spasms, as well as the nerves that are kind of pinched between them. Okay, emotional pain. So we address this, right? If you're having a lot of pain and there's an emotional component, increased stress, increased anxiety, you know that some of this pain is stemming from trauma, from grief, from loss, whatever it is. We want to make sure that you are addressing that as well, because by addressing emotional pain, you are also going to be addressing physical pain. All right. So other than, like we talked about, seeking professional help if you really got to process through something, taking the LLV, especially for the omegas, right? We're supporting the neurotransmitters in the gut. We're supporting the actual brain for mental focus and clarity. There's some additional products that you can do to support the emotional side. So the new Adaptive line is probably hands down one of the best things I've ever seen. The Adaptive line is a combination of Adaptive oil, and it's a beautiful blend. It smells amazing. It's very calming. It's very soothing, right? It's going to help you just feel like you can take that deep breath and you can cope. But then it has the Adaptive capsules, and these are botanical. They actually increase the GABA in our brains, right? Which is going to help us cope and manage stress. It's going to help us feel use them. When you inhale them, they go straight to that emotional part of your brain, and they can just completely alter your mood, improve your focus, uplift. And it's a really quick way to do that. So if you don't have a diffuser, I highly recommend one, at least one, if not one in every room eventually, like we have. But having a diffuser is just such a powerful way and such an easy way to affect the mood in your house, whether it's to lift it up or calm it down. And then there's frankincense. So we talked about frankincense for the muscle pain as well by laying it with deep blue. But frankincense is also very powerful for emotional pain. It's able to cross the blood-brain barrier. It is very grounding. It's kind of calms the chatter in the brain, if that makes sense to you. And if you have it, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's that emotional stress and emotional pain where the brain just does not shut off and you can't make it stop, and it keeps you up all night. And that's part of the reason you're not sleeping. It ties into emotional pain. It ties into physical pain. Frankincense is amazing for doing that. You can diffuse it. You can put a drop on your thumb, press it to the roof of your mouth. You can layer it with your oils. You can layer it with your Adaptive. It's a beautiful oil to layer. It layers well with almost anything. And it's amazing for helping with the emotional pain. All right, so what about digestive? We've talked a good bit about how your gut plays a really important role in emotional pain. When it comes to digestive pain, right, it's more than just digestive support because a lot of people have food sensitivities. Maybe you aren't absorbing the nutrients all the way, like I said. A lot of people struggle with actual pain in their digestive system. Things like IBS and Crohn's, all these things can be very painful. And we really want to support that as well. So, LOV, of course. My favorite on this slide, hands down, is the Terrazyme. Terrazyme was a game changer for me. So Terrazyme is digestive enzymes, right? So it's actually going to help you break your food down, right? When you are more efficient in breaking your food down, it doesn't stay in your gut as long, right? And your body's actually able to utilize the nutrients from your food. So it's huge. The other one is PB Assist. So PB Assist are your pre and probiotics, right? So you want the right flora in your gut because the right flora in your gut controls how your food's digested, how it's absorbed, what you crave. It impacts your neurotransmitter production. So you want good bacteria. And then you've got two oils. You have our classic DigestZen, which is just tried and true. And you have Tamer, which is a diluted roller. It's especially great for kids. If you have little ones that maybe get a nervous stomach before, a big event, this is amazing. Of course, tummy aches and stuff like that too, but that emotional piece, right, is really important. DigestZen as well. It's just very calming for the gut. It helps to calm it. It helps to bring it into a more balanced state. Both of these do. So I highly, highly recommend it. And then we have the peppermint enteric coated soft gels. So this is kind of a newer product, and it is activities. Definitely try the peppermint soft gels. When it says it's enteric coated, that means that it goes deeper, right? So it doesn't get broken down until further into your intestines, right? It's not released in your stomach. It's going to release in your intestines. The peppermint acts as almost like an anti-inflammatory for your gut. So it's going to bring you a lot of relief and it's going to help keep things moving. All important good things, right? And then our last topic right here is addressing specifically head tension, maybe people that are struggling with migraines. And this is a little bit different than muscle or joint, right? There could be muscle and joint connections with this. But everybody kind of experiences head tension and migraines differently, right? The headaches present differently, the symptoms may be different. So when we're talking about this specifically, I'm going to go back to Copaiba again and again and again, right? Because Copaiba is calming to the nervous system. It's going to help be relaxing. It's going to help the nerves to calm down. And it's just amazing. All right. Frankincense and Copaiba together, especially for headaches. Again, super great, especially if you're a chronic migraine sufferer. Put that frankincense, press it to the roof of your mouth, put it on your finger, press it to the roof of your mouth. Put it right on the back, right at the base of the skull. You can layer that with some past tense. Past tense is an amazing roller. It is not diluted. It is very potent and it's very powerful. But past tense at the base of your neck, the base of the skull, a little dot in the center of the forehead. Don't get it too close to your eyes. It's potent. So it will make your eyes water if you get it too close, but it is quick and it is fast. Eucalyptus, like this is one that really surprised me, but it's tried and true. So eucalyptus, when you apply it topically, with the past tense or with the frankincense, is really good as well for any kind of head tension or migraines. So obviously, again, LOV, because you want to give, you don't want to be starving your brain, right? You want to have the nerves, the muscles, they all need the foundation, and the brain needs the omegas. So, pulling out the copaiba, the frankincense, the past tense of eucalyptus, if you're really a headache sufferer, I think is really phenomenal. So that kind of sums up pretty much the different pains, the different top products I recommend. Like I said, I really encourage you, if pain is something that you're struggling with, to look into doTERRA's new pain tract, which is, like I said, it's an auto ship once a month for 3 months. And it's got so many of these products that we just went over, and then some. Like it even comes with a massage ball, like as a PT, the massage ball you get in month 1. Oh my goodness. Muscles, trigger points, stretching, like that massage ball is phenomenal. You add it to the oils and it's a game changer. And then you get another one the second month, and it's going to make sure that you have what you need, and you're going to build and you're going to create this system that's just really going to help you manage things in a very healthy and safe way. So I know I'm not doing this live. So it's, I can't pull anybody on to necessarily give testimonies. But I did kind of save a couple testimonies that I thought maybe I could share. And like, for example, had a patient that we were really struggling with the trigger points up in the shoulder blade. It would radiate up into the neck. If anybody gets that neck tension down into the shoulder blade, the shoulder hurts, the neck hurts, headaches happen, right? It all connects. Being able to do the massage ball and teach them how to do some trigger point self-release and combine that with, I believe we found the best combination for her was Deep Blue layered with copaiba, and applying that topically, and then doing the massage ball and some gentle heat was such a game changer for the tension and the muscles themselves. So, I mean, that was one. I see a lot of neuropathy. We treat that very specific. What I have learned very quickly is that we do the treatment, and then I send them home with a roller bottle with diluted Deep Blue, copaiba, and frankincense. And it is amazing for how that helps to hold the treatment longer, and bring them some significant relief. My dad is a diabetic of many, many years. He gets so much relief from his diabetic neuropathy as well, just by using the oils. So, I mean, it's our go-to. Deep Blue is everywhere. It's at my clinic. It's at my house. That's probably my favorite one. But definitely, if I had to pick, don't make me pick. I can't pick. Because it's all of the ones I talked to. The turmeric, the copaiba, the frankincense, the past tense. Like, we use them all, and personally, as well as in the clinic. So I don't think I could pick. That was a bad choice of words. So that pretty much wraps up my presentation for today. I hope it was helpful. Self-care, making sure you hydrate, making sure you move, making sure you're giving yourself the right nutrition that can diminish inflammation versus nutrition. There's things we eat that increase it. Doing your LLV, applying the oils consistently on a daily basis, and taking the supplements. Like those are all super important. Learning how to and that's my sister. We all know people who are in pain, whether it's chronic pain, emotional pain, or even occasional pain. Everybody has pain at some point. And so, what I would highly encourage you to do is to go back to the person that shared the series with you, because not only can you use oils for yourself, but you can share these oils and help family and help friends. You can create an amazing business out of this and share these oils with others. And if you have questions about that, if you're not sure how to go about doing that, maybe you want to pull in a friend or pull in a family member because they would benefit. Go back, talk to that person, let them guide you, let them help you you for this. So don't be afraid to share. Don't be afraid to try these oils. Um, if you guys have any questions, you're welcome to reach out directly to me, or to the person that shared this with you, and we can definitely answer any questions you may have. So again, thank you guys for joining me. Let me say goodbye to everybody. Let's see. There we go. So again, guys, I hope it was helpful. Thank you so much for joining in, for watching the recording. Don't forget to fill out the survey so that you can get your prize by watching all 8. Again, the code word is relief for this one. I think you need that on the survey. And I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of their day. And I hope you get some pain relief. Bye, guys.